Welcome to the bench. Today we're going to work on the 1/24th scale rock bouncer. I haven't had picked a name out yet for it. And I usually have a name for all my trucks. But today we're going to at least start the chassis for the rock bouncer. This comes from Injora. It's $21 right now. You can get it a little cheaper on eBay. I think more than one company builds it. I think Injora. There are people out there who sell it from out of country. Of course, most parts for RCs are built out of country. And here we go. We got the plates. The side, battery mount, the roof, top, tubing for the spacing, and little screws, and I even give you a small wrench to help you put the screws in. You don't have the correct size driver. Alright, so these little screws are crazy, and there's no instructions. So you got real long screws, you got real short screws, you got bolts, you got nuts, and nothing tells you how to put it together. So this should be quite interesting. Trying to figure out what screws go where to build this. So if I had to say, since there are some, maybe all, not all these tubes have holes in it. Half of them do and half of them don't. So I'm going to look online at a picture. Hopefully the picture will tell me or show me a little bit on how this goes together. Okay, so I looked online and I found a picture on Amazon on what it looks like when it's built. And from that picture, I've got a pretty good idea how this is going to go. So if you guys would get one of these and you need to know how to put it together, this will help. The front of the chassis has a lot of holes. I'm going to start at the very furthest out. And the first one I'm going to put on has no holes in the tube. Which screws do I use? I don't know. There are several different sizes here. There's some very small ones, some very big ones, or longer I should say. There's even a couple of little nuts, but I don't know what goes where. So we're going to attempt to figure out how many of each screw we have and see if that helps us determine where they might go. So if you hold on for a second, I'm going to sort these. Okay, so there are 4 different size screws. And then there are 4 that go into the battery box or plate. There's the roof, And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different tubes. 9. 9 different tubes. Okay, so I don't know. There's 4 really wrong screws. There's 5 a little shorter. Then there are 10 that are a little shorter. And then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 that are even shorter yet. And then there are 4 nuts, very small nuts. Okay, so this is quite confusing. I want to see if any of this. All right, so these tubes there are some threaded tubes. Okay, and I am going to, those are for the battery box. And the screw that goes into, come on, focus, 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 is this screw here. That goes into the battery box. It's been countersunk a little bit, and that goes into one of the tubes that is threaded. Okay, so this little screw right here goes into the battery tray and goes into the tube that has threads. All right, we got that figured out. The roof, again, has holes in it. And I would have to say that the other 2 tubes are for the roof. That have threads in them. So the roof and tubes with holes. And I would say you could use the smallest possible screws in this area because this is very thin. And they are smaller threads than the tubes that go for the battery tray. So they are work in that. So find the very smallest ones in length for the roof or top or whatever you want to call it. Alrighty then. Tiny, 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 tiny pieces. Man. I honestly believe that a lot of these screws are used to put the mount on and for the shocks. I do believe. We will find out. But anyhow, those tubes that are have the very smallest of threads are used to secure the roof to the tubes. This is quite the job. Yeah, like I said, I got 67-year-old hands. I used to play baseball, football, volleyball, so these hands have been through hell. And they don't work as well as they did when I was younger, of course. So for me to put this together is going to be a interesting project. This is where you wish that we would have had a third hand right in the center of our chest to hold something while we're putting it together. So that's why we invented a vise. I have this bench vise here that I'm going to place the roof in as a third hand to hold this while I put this tube on here. Okay, finally got one started. Okay, finally got that in there. Holy smokes. That was a little bit rough. Okay, now, for the rest of this, I do believe we will use a little bit longer screws. And we'll start with the front. Now you got a choice here. You can have completely black, or you can have black with a little silver around the edges. I'm going to put the silver on the outside just because I kind of think it's cool. Okay, so one goes in the front. We have two that go on top for the roof area. We have the battery go on the bottom, and you can kind of put that wherever you want to, I guess. Whatever trips your trigger. And then we have 4 more tubes, and according to the picture on the Amazon, there are 2 tubes in the front, and of course 2 in the back. And the 2 in the back are right on top of each other. So these 2 tubes here on the back are going to be right on top of each other. This tool kit that I'm using, got it on Amazon. It's made by Dynamic. Huh. Dynamic. Dynamite. Made by Dynamite. And it comes with this and several different bits. And the thing I like about it is you can change the length of the bit, and it locks one way or the other way, and it's ratcheting, so you can ratchet it, and it has a neutral position where it, no matter which way you turn it, it's locked. Yeah, and the smallest bit that comes with it works on these screws, the 1/24th scale. Okay, now we have one more placement of a tube. As you can see, we have one in the front and two in the rear. And the other placement, according to the picture, is in this area. And I guess it all depends on where you're going to put your shocks, these little shock tower cutouts, I would imagine. But it's pretty much shows it in the third one down, second one in on that row. So approximately, there's some dots here, and it's the third row down, second one in, or toward the back. I don't know if that's a good placement, bad placement. That's the picture placement. In the future, if we have trouble with links or shocks, we can move it. Okay, so now the battery plate, or mounting plate for a million different things probably. These holes in the picture on the internet, you can't really tell where it's at. But I am going to place this somewhere in the middle of the vehicle. And I'm down maybe as low as I can go for now. So again, I'm going to put it in this area right here. Again, this is probably going to be up to you however you want to put it in. But for my purposes, or what I think needs to be done, I'm going to put it in the lowest that I can put it and still connect two dots on the plate. And that did not work. Nothing lines up unless you want it crooked. Okay, so I got to raise it one. The diagram that's on Amazon of the actual chassis is fairly decently, is that a word? It's decent. It'll give you an idea of where you think things should be. Now, what screws you use, that doesn't tell you. I'm using this, I use the smallest of screws on the roof. I'm using the next smallest screws on the bars. or the next biggest. Bigger ones, whatever. Longer ones. Okay. So if I put it there, where I have it is now lined up, and I will show you a side view of where I put them. And again, I'm sure you can, mounting plate can go anywhere, but this is how I've done it. Okay, the roof, pretty much only 4 screw holes up here, so where it goes is not debatable. It's pretty much set. First little hiccup is the roof screws holes don't line up. They're a little off. So we got lots of screws, so we're going to force one, see if it brings it into alignment of some kind. That is a problem. We may have to bore that hole out just a little bit. Yeah. I'm going to have to bore the hole out in the top, just a hair. See if I can, whoa, sorry about that, knocked you guys over. This is a handy tool if you're doing this. Black & Decker Smart Driver, lithium battery. I like it because it's adjustable on the strength. Just buy one of these little adapters. You can put just about anything in it. So we're going to bore out the holes so this will slide around a little bit. Okay, that was about the size of the hole. That was 1/8 or 1/16, so we'll go to 1/8. Or 9/64. This actually comes with 5/64. Comes with 2 1/8 or 1/16 drill bits. This is a DeWalt Tools drill bit. Okay, that's pretty soft aluminum, so you don't have to put a whole lot of pressure on it. And that makes that hole just a little bit bigger, and it'll allow me to I got a piece of aluminum in the hole. Maybe catch that hole. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so I just bored out one of them. You could bore out both of them if you had to, so you have a little bit of slop back and forth to move it around to make it fit a little better. But I think this will work. If not, we'll do the other one. And that surprises me because everything else has been pretty daggone good. Okay, these screws are very soft-headed. you can strip them out, the head of these screws out, very easily. So it would behoove you not to use any kind of motorized tool or a whole lot of torque to put these screws in. Okay, we now have it in where it belongs. Now let's see if the top ones line up on the other side. Yes. Just that one screw was, or one hole, was out of whack. Okay, so we've got this completely built here, as you can see. Now we'll put the other side on. Okay, and there's the chassis. Finished putting the screws in, and we will have a rather interesting looking rock bouncer chassis. Like I said, they give you plenty of screws to put this together, which is nice. Because if you want to add parts to it, finding 1/24 scale bolts and nuts could be time consuming. So they give you plenty of extras, which is, in my opinion, good. And different lengths, so that you can do different things to your project. And add things to it. There's plenty of holes in this chassis for add-ons. But for as far as fit and finish goes, I'm not disappointed. Hopefully this will give you an idea of how to put this together if you happen to buy one. They don't have any instructions. Alrighty, there it is. 1/24 scale rock bouncer chassis. Let's see what it looks like next to a 1/24 scale vehicle. I think this is going to work. I like it. Okay, thanks for watching. The next thing we'll do is we'll put the, well, I don't know. I think we'll put the motor mount, and right away I see a problem with where I put the battery holder, because the motor's got to go in there and it's not going to fit in there. All right, we'll have to move the motor mount, or the battery tray. So thanks for watching. Have a good day. We'll talk to you later.